Chernobyl, a name that still sends chills down the spine. It is remembered as the site of the worst nuclear disaster in human history. But beyond the headlines and the official reports, there are hidden secrets, untold curiosities, and stories that reveal just how close the world came to an unimaginable catastrophe. Pripyat, the city built in 1970 to house the workers of the Chernobyl plant, was once a symbol of Soviet progress. It had schools, cinemas, playgrounds, and modern apartments. Families lived there with pride, and the city was even called the City of Hope. But in the early hours of April 26, 1986, everything changed. A safety test at reactor number 4 went terribly wrong. Protocols were ignored, mistakes piled up, and in a matter of seconds, the reactor exploded. The blast ripped the roof off the plant, scattered radioactive graphite across the site, and ignited fires that burned for 10 days. The explosion released radiation 400 times greater than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Yet for 36 hours, the Soviet Union remained silent. Families continued their daily routines, children played outside, and workers went to their jobs, all while invisible poison spread through the air. By the time the evacuation was ordered, it was already too late. Radiation had already traveled across borders, reaching Sweden more than 2,000 kilometers away before the Soviet Union admitted the truth. Hidden within this tragedy are stories of extraordinary heroism. Few people know about the 3 men, Boris Baranov, Valery Bespalov, and Alexei Onanenko, who volunteered to dive into radioactive waters to open valves and prevent a second explosion that could have devastated all of Europe. Or the 400 miners who dug tunnels beneath the reactor in suffocating heat without proper protective gear to stop contamination from reaching underground water supplies. These unsung heroes saved millions of lives, though many suffered terrible consequences themselves. And then there were the firefighters. Called in to extinguish what they thought was a simple blaze, they rushed in without protective suits, unaware they were battling a radioactive inferno. Many of them touched pieces of graphite with their bare hands, not realizing it was deadly. Within hours, their skin burned, their bodies failed, and several of them died in agony. They were among the first victims of Chernobyl, sacrificing their lives without even knowing the scale of the disaster. Deep inside the ruins lies one of the most dangerous objects on Earth, the elephant's foot. This mass of molten radioactive material formed from the reactor's core and remains so deadly that in the early years, standing near it just for minutes meant certain death. Even today, decades later, it continues to emit radiation, slowly decaying but still powerful enough to poison generations. It is a silent monster, hidden beneath layers of concrete, waiting in the shadows. And yet, against all odds, life has returned. Wolves, wild horses, and even bears roam freely through the exclusion zone. Forests have swallowed abandoned buildings, and nature has reclaimed the land. Scientists are astonished at how wildlife has adapted to radiation, thriving in a place where humans cannot. It is a haunting reminder that while human presence was erased, resilience thrives in unexpected ways. The true cost of Chernobyl remains hidden. Estimates suggest nearly 100,000 people died as a result of radiation exposure, though the exact numbers were buried by secrecy. Cancer rates soared across Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia in the years that followed. Entire communities were uprooted, and the scars of the disaster still shape how the world views nuclear power today. Even now, elderly residents, known as self-settlers, live within the exclusion zone, refusing to abandon their homes despite the risks. They grow food in contaminated soil, drink water from radioactive wells, and insist that this land is their life,
their memory, and their identity. Chernobyl is more than a tragedy. It is a story of silence, sacrifice, and survival. A place where clocks stopped ticking, where toys were left scattered on the floor, and where entire families vanished overnight. It is a reminder of human error, of truths hidden from the world, and of the incredible strength of those who fought to contain the unimaginable. And while the world may think it knows the story, the echoes of that night in 1986 still haunt us, reminding us that history is never just what is written, it is also what is concealed. So which of these mysteries did you know? Don't forget to subscribe and hit like to support the channel, and turn on notifications to get alerts for new videos. See ya!